Hello, comrades. I'm gonna start this guide with a simple age-old question. Is it aluminum or aluminium? For me, since I'm Romanian, I'm going to call it the entire video aluminium, since in Romania, it's aluminium. So don't roast me in the comments for this. Anyway, as always, use YouTube chapters or check the description of the video to directly jump to the parts you're interested, and we're gonna discuss about research, how to build it, profits, and maybe some other stuff I did not think about it when writing the script. Starting off, what research do you need? Well, the good part over here is that aluminium production line is unaffected by the early start DLC. Therefore, the research tree is very clean, but it still has a shit ton of things to research. Basically, you need to start off with geology faculty, then geological mapping, because you really want to see where the nodes are, because you really don't want to end up scanning the dirt with your bauxite mine, like an American Muppet that caught a gold fever. Anyway, then we got bauxite exploitation study, bauxite purification methods, conversion to aluminium oxide, and aluminium production. Nothing more. Again, it's aluminium, not aluminum. With the research out of the way, let's see where aluminium is actually used. Aviation. That's literally all. No Diet Pepsi, no Coca-Cola cans, no nothing. Just aviation. Creation and the maintenance of airplanes and helicopters. Yes, I am pissed about this. It's the only place you're gonna use aluminium. So, a single aluminium plant needs 52 tons of aluminium oxide. A single alumina plant produces 33 tons of aluminium oxide. So we are going to need two of them running at least 80% productivity each or higher. For me, it's 92% because I'm too lazy to play around with the current numbers. You can lower them with absolutely no issues. Then, we know that each alumina plant needs 77 tons of bauxite per day in order to produce those 33 tons. But if they are running at 80% productivity, it means that you're going to only need 62 tons of bauxite in order to satisfy the needs. Therefore, logically speaking, we're gonna need only 2 bauxite processing plants to run at max speed just to be safe, because we're gonna just employ 25 workers for each one versus the 370 for the alumina plant. Then, moving on to bauxite mines. We know that each bauxite processing plant needs 125 tons of raw bauxite. If we're gonna go from the tooltip of the bauxite mine, we can see that each worker produces 0.50 tons of bauxite per day. We have a maximum number of workers of 45. That means somewhere around 22.5 tons per day. But instead of workers, we are going to use excavators. In the scenario where we're using excavators, the actual production at 99% is close to 50 tons. Now, going back to the bauxite processing plant, we do know that we need a total of 250 tons to run both of the processing plants. Therefore, we are going to need a minimum of 5 bauxite mines that are running at 100% quality of source. To simplify things out, think of it like 250/50, the current workday production, you're gonna get 5 of them. Now, because quality of source is 99%, let's call it 100, this means that you're gonna need all your bauxite mines to run at 500% purity cumulatively. What does cumulatively means? Well, you're not going to always have quality of source 99. You can also have quality of source 94, 88, etc. As long as all of them summed up together, you're going to get 500%, then you are safe. So, hopefully you did understand that. Let's go and actually build it from scratch. Alrighty guys, welcome back to the guide city. What you can see on the screen right now is all the bauxite hotspots that I have in my city. We can see that there are 2 over here, but I really don't want to build over here, since when it comes to placing the mines themselves, the terrain is quite hilly, and in order to access them, I'll need to do some really weird stuff with the roads, similarly over here down here. Moreover, the terrain does not allow me to build flat. So I'll try to search another favorable spot. Here are some other spots, like over here, you literally got 2 nearby ores, but yeah, you could build it here if you want, or where I actually built the one that you saw in the beginning of the video, it's over here. One thing that I want to mention is that you don't need them all clumped together. What you can do, for example, let's say that I want my main factory to come over here. Then in this case, if I don't have enough bauxite on this area, I can go to a nearby place where there is bauxite. I think there was over here. Yes, there we go. Let's just plonk one over here just for shit and giggles. And then if I want to come with it to the location where I am, I simply go to aggregates, get a conveyor belt, and simply transfer it as much as possible. There we go. This is the first one. The second one should be a lot longer. And I'm simply building this to come over there. There we go. Now I'm nearby the industry where I want to do things, and I'll do it. Let's reload a bit. If you are lucky like me, you might get all the ore deposits from a single node that you have. Let's start by placing the mines themselves. What you want to do is to have the roads pointing in opposite direction, because we are going to stagger them. Basically, I'm gonna start on this one because it has 100% quality of source. Then place another one over here, another 100%. Perfect. We have 200% at the moment. And I'm going to place another one over here. I saw 97%. This is perfect. So we have 300% over here, and because they are staggered, we can connect them with a conveyor overpass. I do recommend using a conveyor overpass because these are the simplest ones to build, because they do have 2 road points. Let's place it over here. So now we have 300%. We still need 200% in order to satisfy the needs. So let's see how we are going to achieve that. We have an 86% on this side. Let's see, 87. Can we do better? No, 87 is the best at the moment. There we go. And place another one. Let's see where we can do it. Another one would be over here. Yep, 82%. Now, because I've placed this one at 82%, I know I can remove this one and rebuild it again with the road pointing in the opposite direction, like this. So right now we have 300 plus, I can't remember exactly how much it was on this side. Let's wait for it to be constructed. There we go, plus 82, 382. And then plus 82 again, 460-ish. We still need around 40% or so. So let's grab another bauxite mine and see where we can find a 40%. On this side I see 90%. Perfect. I'm just gonna plonk it down over here and just build another conveyor belt. It's perfectly fine if we're gonna connect more of them. Actually, what we can do is to attempt to connect all 3 of them at once in a single conveyor overpass. As you can see, it is possible, but then the last one here will not be connected. So let's make it one here, pointing slightly to the right side so we can reconnect, and here. And let's move it, why not, as close as possible. There we go. Now this is our setup. We have more than 500% in here with 6 mines, and let's build the roads. Firstly, connect the overpasses since they are super simple to be connected. Then connect mines either 2 by 2 or more by more. Let's go with this one in this direction and then come off over here. And then this one here. Perfect. We have all of the mines connected and the overpasses themselves. Good. Now, optionally, you can place an aggregate storage over here. You can even go with a small storage. This is because the metallurgy, the bauxite processing plant, only supports 10 tons of raw bauxite as import. It's completely optional from my point of view because all of these mines will work with equipment. The only way they're gonna have downtime is if you don't fuel them in time. However, that will be very hard to happen because we are going to plan over here a distribution office which also handles it. But for the sake of it, let's go the correct way and actually place an aggregate storage over here, which I still find it useless, but hey. Now, the next part is slightly trickier because you're going to need 2 bauxite processing plants that have as input the raw bauxite. But check a bit the passenger points. You got one on the south side, one pointing to the west, and one on the north side. If we're gonna mirror them, the best connection point for our underground passage is actually on the south side. This will be the closest to the passenger station that we're gonna build. In this case, what I recommend to do is to grab another aggregate storage, this time, aggregate conveyor pass, this time the one that is splitting, and let's place it somewhere as close as possible. Over here should be perfectly fine. Good. This will allow you to build in a way where you're going to have access to passenger stations here. Let's move it like this. Actually, the road pointing in the opposite direction and just leaving a little bit of space between them just so we can fit in and squeeze a passenger road. This should be fine. Let's just check it out that we can actually build a passenger road. Yes, we can build under it. That is perfect. The other one you're building, it really doesn't matter where the connection goes, either to the conveyor or to the storage directly. Somewhere around here should be perfectly fine. There we go, and leave it to connect to the storage directly. Now, place the passenger station over here, and then the underground overpass on this side. Connect the road here, well, the passenger walkway, then build a road connected to your main road there. And now whenever you are needing to maintain the said pedestrian underpass, your construction vehicles will come on the main road, pick the passenger road here, and then go directly to the pedestrian underpass to fix it. It doesn't work, sadly, directly from buildings. Let's extend this one a little bit so we can actually connect the mine, and on this side we're gonna do the same but coming from this area. Like this should be perfectly fine. Now you saw a disadvantage. If you're connecting it directly to the storage, you're gonna lose the road access on this side. Let's check it out if it's possible to connect to the overpass so we don't lose the road access. If it's not possible, then yeah, it is possible. There we go. And we have free road access here. Basically, this will be a very good shortcut for your dumpers in order to collect the waste that these will produce. Now, the next thing is to build another aggregate storage. Size really doesn't matter over here. I'm just going with the 2501 because it is bulky. And let's place it as close as possible, making sure that it connects to both bauxite processing plants. The road is pointing in this direction because in here we're gonna place yet another one like this, and again moving it slightly close. I do see a problem here. You see the conveyor overpass got created here but not here. Let's check it out why that happened and see if we can create it. Yes, we can, but for whatever reason it refused at the beginning. That was weird. Let's just create it. Other aggregate storage coming like this. You don't need any connections on this side. Just leave them as they are. Over here, we are going to place our road. Let's just delete part of this chunky road. Afterwards, we are going to take the train offloading, train unloading, aggregate unloading. There we go. I will go directly with the biggest one. It's not mandatory to have the biggest one, but I like how it looks like. There we go. And you see, because I've built the road over here, it's also freely connecting with absolutely no issues. Let's see. Here should be fine. There we go. So now on this side, we are going to import the coal. On the other side, we are going to have the bauxite coming from the two processing plants. If for whatever reason you decide to split this build, for example, having the mines and the processing plant in one place, then having the factory in another place, let's say for the space reasons. In this case, you can simply grab yet another conveyor overpass and place it so it connects to the gravel storage. Or attempt at where the processing plants are at the moment to just connect the two places, and that will be easier. In case you will be using conveyor overpasses, be very careful. You're gonna get errors in your transport, in your distribution offices. It's mandatory to use a manual line in order to function properly. With that out of the way, we have these two storages placed in here. Let's use a secret that we discovered when we were building the steel industry. Basically, you can combine two resources, two aggregate resources, into a single conveyor overpass, and this will work. Let's make sure we hug it as much as possible with a connection. There we go. This is the maximum hugginess we can do. And again on this side. Let's see where they want to connect. There we go, one here and one here. Perfect. They are a bit skewed. It's absolutely no problem if they are there. Let's connect the roads. All perfect until now. We are going to go to the next factories, the Aluminium plant. The direction of the road is very important. Basically, you want the road pointing inwards. Now, with the road, hug it as much as possible. Sorry, with the factory, hug it as much as possible to the conveyor overpass on this side. There we go. I'm happy with it over here. Perfect. Now, for the second alumina plant, we are going to firstly connect the road here, and then go to dry bulk cargo and take a dry bulk conveyor overpass that merges into it and connect it to the last connection point as close as possible to it. There we go. Seems like this is good. Now for the last thing, connect the road here. I can see that the road wants to bend a bit less of an angle. That's perfectly fine. I'll just rebuild the road here. Perfect. With this one built over here, we can actually place the second alumina plant on this side, connecting both to the road and to the overpass. Basically, we are going to move it until it connects to the overpass. I see it does want to connect now. Basically, the goal is to have it connecting as close as possible, and at the same time, the two factory connections to be as close as possible. The factory connections I'm referring to are this one and this one. Basically, through here, the chemicals will enter. Let's make sure beforehand that the conveyor belt behind the scenes, it works. Perfect. So we have the two storages connected to the alumina plant. It will provide everything it needs. Coal, bauxite, and, well, water and chemicals are still not yet provided, but let's fix that right now. Let's take an angled merging dry bulk connection and place it hugging the factory as much as possible without blocking the entry point, the factory connection. You can do it either on this side or on this side. It truly doesn't matter. For me, I don't know why I prefer the left side. Anyway, I'll build it on the left side. There we go. I am only interested to connect to this merger. I don't want to connect over there. The reasoning being is that I am going to take a big warehouse, point the road on the opposite side of my connection here, and then make sure to hug it as well. Before hugging it as much as possible, let's take a road, build it here, and connect the overpass. Good. Now we can actually build the warehouse and make sure it will be able to connect the factory entry points. Let's see, somewhere around here should be okay. Let's check it out. Yes, it is okay. Perfect. And then connect the road over here. Now, if the connection point, the dry bulk cargo connection point, would have gotten here, you see it's in the middle of the road. That's why I refused to connect it from here and I went through this overpass. Good. Now for the alumina plant. The aluminium processing plant, actually, the final building. We are going to take it, and since it's coming from the left side, we are going to point the said dry bulk conveyor belt on the left side. Something like this should be perfectly fine, and we can also hug the warehouse as much as possible. Last thing is to actually get another angled connection and see where we can connect it. It should be connectable. If we are unlucky, there is a small chance where we won't be able to connect it, just like in this scenario. Let's see why exactly. There should be a place where it will work. If the overpass itself doesn't work, try something smaller, maybe that will do the trick. Okay, if such shenanigans happen, in this case we can remove the factory connection and try to connect elsewhere and reattempt again the dry bulk connection. There we go. Now it is possible. Seems like I built it a bit way too close to the factory connection, but now it's fixed. let's build the road over here. Now, the last thing I would like to do is to find a proper place in the middle where I can place my passenger train. I can place it on this side or on this side, since the alumina plants are right in the middle of everything. Let's try it on this side and see how it works. For now, we can place a bus station or whatever on this side. Because the guide city is around 6 kilometers away, I know I need to use the train station. There's no other way for me to do it. So I'll take a train platform. I'm gonna go with the highest one that I have here. Let's see, can we connect this over here? Yes, we can, and we can directly connect it here. Now the train station has access to one single alumina plant at the very moment. What we can do is build underground passages either on this side or on the other side. I'm just gonna go on this side and then connect it to the remaining factories. Theoretically, I can come over here and it should be able to connect to both alumina plants. Although we do have a connection on this side, it doesn't matter for now. Let's take the connection from here and build it until here. You notice that it says some infrastructure in the way. It's because of the road here. Just lower it to 9 meters and you won't have any problems. But for now, I do see that there is a connection, a cheesy connection here. I can go here with absolutely no problems. The last thing that I want to do is to connect it in here. Let's see. Firstly, did the connection work? Do we have access to both alumina plants? No, not yet. So let's see if we can fix that. Either by going over here or... This is a bigus problemus. Basically, I did block this path with the dry bulk conveyor path. So the only connection point that I will have to the alumina plant will actually be over here. But that should be fine also. Let's see, can we move this? And now have a pedestrian tunnel that bolts directly to the area over here, to the two mines. Then another one that bolts to here. Make sure it's a straight line so there's less things in the way. There we go. And theoretically now we should have it connected. Let's see. Did I forget to... Oh, god damn it. There we go. Why? Is it still too far? Did we miss a connection somewhere? Let's upgrade these two. No, they are upgraded, okay. What about over here? Does it go to the plant? Yes, it does, but it seems like it won't reach the two bauxite processing plants here. Okay, let's move the train platform a bit closer and see if that will solve our problems. There we go, 9 meters, and connect it like this. Perfect, let's check out now. Yes, we do have access to all things in this area. Let's check on this area how we can achieve the same goal. Well, this time I'm not going to use any underground passages. Let's see if we can do something to bolt directly to here. Like this. And then coming on the road, if I can do it. There we go. Do we have direct access now? Yes. As you can see, we have access to everything from the passenger perspective. The last thing that I need to do is to store the aluminium somehow. So I'm going to pick an open storage medium, move it slightly backwards as much as I can, and connect it to the aluminium ply. Now I'm going to build the railway, starting from this side, going like this, and then build the road. If I would have done it the other way around, the railroad would have complained that there's a crossroad nearby and it cannot be built. One final thing we are going to need if you are playing with waste enabled, it's the aluminium recycling plant. As you know, I do prefer my recycling plants to be nearby the production area. So I'm just gonna place it over here with absolutely no problems. Then have a storage nearby. Let's see, where was the aggregate storage? There we go. Even the 1000 fits perfectly on this side. And then have a train aggregate unloading over here, as small as possible. It truly doesn't matter. Or coming through from this direction, it really doesn't matter. I'll just go into this direction. So basically what will happen? Your airplane production line creates aluminium scrap. That aluminium scrap, you can transport it via the train line directly over here. And when you're transporting it here, you will be able to recycle it with the aluminium recycling plant and get aluminium back. Okay, let's see what else we're gonna need to do. Let's connect a road over here. And I think that we are done with the construction. No, we are not done yet. We still need a way to actually get chemicals in the warehouse. And actually, let's do that because I do feel like there's way too much space on this side. And hope that it will work as expected. Grab a cargo train station. The only rule I'm placing is to have the connection points in the middle over here. And right now I have discovered something surprisingly that I did not take into consideration when doing the original build. You really don't need this rail yard over here. You can get directly from here the aluminium too, because you have connected it to the open storage. Nice. Okay, anyway, we have it set over here. Let's build the railway. Worth noting, maybe it's a good idea to make an underground road over here or point the road a bit more, or else it will be blocked by trains. And also you really don't need all of them, since at most 2 trains will be over here, the chemicals trains and the one that is exporting aluminium. Now let's figure out a way to reconnect the places over here. Firstly, let's build the road. There we go. Let's recheck that it's perfect. Yes, all factories are still in place. We can get chemicals in via this cargo train station. We can also export the aluminium. The alumina plant, it's working perfectly fine. There's absolutely no problems. Now you might also complain that I did not build any storage for the alumina plants, basically to store these 33 tons of aluminum oxide in case the aluminum plant goes way ahead. That's kind of overkill. The aluminum plant already has 150 tons of storage of aluminum oxide. Placing another dry bulk storage just to save 1000 tons, not that good. The last thing that we are missing over here is an incinerator, but I'm going to show you once we get to profits. Let's cover some things that I did not discuss when building the layout. Basically, you need to put garbage cans everywhere so you can reach the mines. These only get construction waste and other waste. The processing plants by themselves, the same, other waste and construction waste. The alumina plants will produce both hazardous waste and also mixed waste, which is other waste. Simply place some hazardous waste containers in your garbage cans. Afterwards, the aluminum plant itself will also produce all other waste and hazardous waste. All the waste that is not construction material is delivered directly to the big garbage transfer station over here near my incinerator. Basically, you want the factory connection to be only one way. You don't want the ash to exit into the big transfer station. The ash will exit in a dump with claw machine that a train can come and pick it up. An extra thing that I have added is a oil fuel unloading and loading station over here together with a fuel storage. The thing that I completely forgot to add is a distribution office over here. The reason I forgot it is because all of the mines use bought fuels at the moment. For you, if you're playing in realistic, just link them and put them to for all the mines over here. Apart from this, the mines themselves do not use any workers. You can even set it to 0 with absolutely no problems. But they are using excavators in order to get the resources. Always use the best excavator you have, which is this one, and it has the excavator speed at 33. This gives you the best outcome at somewhere around 49 tons or so. As you can see, 46 here. We did discuss this at the beginning. And what I have extra is an aggregate storage that stores all the construction waste. Over here, you can place another train aggregate loading in order to grab all of the construction waste and then deliver it to the warehouse. I did not place it because in the guide city I can just delete it directly and be done with it. The rail, how I've set it up in this scenario, coming from the unloading station, I made a pass-through over here. The train platform on my side, it's placed over here. In the explication, it was on this side. The electricity comes to these electric substations, and the underground looks like a spaghetti hot mess. And yeah, I'm happy with it. And the water, I'm buying it from here, but you can also use pipes in order to get the water over here. Please note, this water is of quality 100 because it's reserved only to workers. All of the connections over here are connected only to water substations. None of them are connected to the alumina plant. Alumina plants need water in order to function. This water needs to be of quality 75%. For me, in order to get the water quality 75%, I just went ahead and placed 2 small water wells a bit further from the factory. The distance over here, it's quite exaggerated because we really need only 75% water. If we're gonna check now that the factory is running at full capacity, let's check how much we're having. 78, 82, maybe somewhere closer, somewhere around here would have been slightly better. But even nearby, we can see we are quite good because, again, 75 here. And with that out of the way, let's check how many citizens you're going to need. You're going to need 1,180 workers for a single shift, or 3,540 workers to cover the entire workday. Let's move to profits. To be honest, the real profits over here don't come exactly from exporting aluminium. If we're gonna check the months, if we're gonna check the profits, we're gonna see that it revolves somewhere around 4,000. We're gonna see that it revolves around 465 to 600 rubles per month. Now, this is comparable to the amount we are getting from oil. And over there, we only need 1,500 citizens. Moreover, the industry as a whole is extremely expensive to build. If we're gonna check, the mines cost 21 tons of steel. You're gonna need 6 of them. Already, you're going to need 120 tons of steel just for the mines. Then you're gonna need 140 tons just for the processing plants. Now, the crazy part, 800 plus tons of steel for both alumina plants, and another 800 tons of steel for the aluminium plant. That's a shit ton of steel, and steel is expensive. I don't recommend building the aluminium plant until you don't have a lot of cash on your hand, or you actually have the steel industry already set up. Now, I did explain that that aluminium is not that great to be exported. However, where it shines is if you can spare yet another 800 workers per shift, or 2,400 workers per the entire workday, you can produce airplanes at quite a good cost. Sadly, the only airplanes worth buying and building are the US ones. Basically, here are two examples. We have this US plane over here that needs 26 tons of aluminium, and then you got the Soviet unit plane that needs 73 tons of aluminium. If we are going to try to sell both planes, we can see the US version costs 875 only for 26 tons of aluminium, versus the Soviet one, which costs 667,000 and takes 3 times more aluminium. Moreover, there's a huge difference when it comes to the production workdays. The one that I was showing, this one, only takes 9,657 workdays. Because you got 800 workers over here, it means it takes somewhere around 13 days or so to produce it, and you're going to have a vehicle that you can sell for almost 1 million rubles. However, the Soviet version one takes 35,000 work days, which is somewhere around 50 days or so full month just to build a single plane, and apart from wasting resources, it also costs a lot less to export it. These are the only places where you can use aluminium. Yes, you can build helicopters too, which are slightly faster in production. Over here we can see the USA one. It takes 2,587 work days and uses very little tons of aluminium, but also the price is cheaper. This one only costs $232,000 to be exported. So basically, in short, you need a shit ton of population for aluminium. The profits are slightly comparable with the oil industry, and you're gonna need a shit ton of steel in order to build it. So, from my point of view, aluminium is something that you wanna do only to increase the already growing profits that you have, and it's best if you're gonna build it somewhere around after the steel industry is done. And I guess that's kind of all about this guide. We are almost finishing with all of the industry layouts, and I guess I'll leave you guys here. I've been the Honey Badger, and I'm out.